The Mystara project is proud to present part 28 of the Places of Mystara series. In this video, we take a look at Adruzzo Peak. Adruzzo Peak was first introduced in the 1989 trail map product, TM1, the Western Countries. Adruzzo Peak is the highest mountain in the Amsorak Mountains, or as the Glantrians call them, the Silver Sierras. It is situated about 8 miles northeast of the source of the upper Amsorak River, in the northwest of the Republic of Darakin. It is part of an unnamed borderland freehold to the east of Amsorak Freehold. The mountain range, including the peak, are relatively young, forming in BC 3000 as a result of the Great Rain of Fire cataclysm. They were then covered in ice until sometime between BC 2000 and BC 800. During this period, they were probably dominated by white dragons and other cold-loving creatures. Sometime between BC 1280 and BC 1269, the Ogre tribe migrated east from the Sind Desert after their wells dried up. They traveled through, or under, the Amsorak Mountains, crossing near Adruzzo Peak, on their way to found Ogre in the southwestern Broken Lands. Around BC 1250, a Sindhi offensive pushed Red Orcs into the Amsorak Mountains, possibly including the area around Adruzzo Peak. Around BC 1000, Gnolls migrated west through the Amsorak Mountains, with some possibly staying. By BC 200, Adruzzo Peak lay within one of 17 Orc tribal territories that stretched from the Amsorak region to the Sea of Grass. The Orcish tribes fought among each other, as well as raiding more civilized areas. By AC 293, Darakinian forces had driven the last Orc tribe out of their lands. Sometime after this was achieved, a noble was awarded a dominion in the Amsorak Mountains that included Adruzzo Peak. At a latitude of about 50 degrees north of the equator, and an elevation of 18,820 feet, Adruzzo Peak is bitterly cold. Its temperature ranges from -31 to -4 degrees Fahrenheit. It experiences a longer autumn and winter. Autumn is the wettest month, followed by spring. Summer is the driest, but experiences the occasional thunderstorm. Mudslides are a common hazard in the range, with Adruzzo being no exception. Earthquakes are another hazard to watch out for. It is unknown how the peak was named, perhaps it was discovered by a Darakinian or Korenzian explorer named Adruzzo. The peak reaches a height of 18,820 feet, compared to the average elevation of the mountain range at 17,000 feet. It is noted that GAS 11, the Republic of Darakin, states the average height of the range is 12,000 feet. Perhaps that refers to the western half of the range. The mountains are comprised of phyllite, giving them a reddish appearance, with steep and rugged slopes. They are known to contain silver and gems. The mountains are avoided by most civilized folk, but some small-scale Darakinian prospectors manage to eke out a living by extracting the odd bit of silver. Greedy Glantrian mining ventures occasionally cross the disputed border, and have more success through the use of magic. Despite some tension between the two states over the exact border, they have an agreement where their forces may cross it, to pursue humanoid enemies. Occasionally, armed forces from Darakin and Glantri will join up to defeat humanoids in the borderlands. At dawn and sunset, Adruzzo Peak and the rest of the mountain range can appear purple. PCs may decide to undertake an expedition to Adruzzo Peak for a variety of reasons. They may just want the fame that comes with climbing the highest mountain in the Amsorak range. A patron may ask them to explore the peak for rare components or minerals. The peak could host the lair of creatures threatening the civilized lowlands, leading to a border magistrate asking for assistance. The most plausible staging area for an expedition might be a small village in the foothills of the upper Amsorak River Valley, within the unnamed freehold. Alternately, Fort Lakeside provides a larger base town, but is a little further away. But without magic, an expedition to Adruzzo Peak would require careful planning. In addition to the earthquakes, mudslides, steep ridges, and bitterly cold temperatures, a number of other hazards would need to be considered. The rock tends to flake, creating scree, which can cause those not wearing mountaineering boots to slip, especially after rain. Thin brittle flakes crunch underfoot, each step threatening to cause a slide, and making quiet approaches only possible during high winds. Permafrost starts in the less sunny spots at around 14,800 feet and covers the peak at the 17,000-foot mark. Abnormally warmer weather can cause slippery surfaces, rock falls, debris slides and collapsing buttresses. At the peak, oxygen is about 50% thinner than sea level, which can cause hypoxia and altitude sickness. Climbing with encumbrance feels brutally slow and exhausting. Speech is only possible in short phrases, making spellcasting difficult. Frostbite, hypothermia, chronic dehydration, and blood viscosity are real risks. All these stresses can lead to safety errors and irritability between climbers. Sleep is difficult, with many waking up gasping with a suffocating feeling. Apart from the environmental challenges, the peak is likely to be the territory of hostile creatures. An ancient and evil red dragon, leader of many younger dragons, is known to be in the vicinity of the foothills around Camp Haldane to the east. Perhaps this great worm lairs on Adruzzo Peak. Orcs are known to inhabit these mountains, with at least one large tribe inhabiting the mountains to the east, near Camp Haldane. They are likely to inhabit caverns under the peak, which could also host gnolls and ogres. Another scenario could involve the PCs stumbling across a mining expedition of the Glantrian Viscount of Nathrat, Ezekiel Naramis. The Erawani elven Viscount has discovered a strange ore on the Darakinian side of the border that has antimagic properties. Perhaps some of this ore is present in Adruzzo Peak. As Ezekiel has failed to inform Glantrian and Darakinian authorities of his find, in order to keep the ore for himself, his discovery by the PCs could set up an interesting choice for how they handle this indiscretion. In terms of future history, the meteor that strikes the Glantri-Darakin border in the summer of AC 1006 missed the peak to the north by about 24 miles. The peak is rocked by the ensuing earthquake and covered in dust after a few days of sun-blocking dust cloud. This concludes part 28 of the Places of Mystara series, featuring the highest mountain in the Amsorak range, Adruzzo Peak.